Life speaks. It speaks through struggles and success, through music and messages, the preconceived and the unexpected. Whether you are in the depths of the valley or in the midst of your mountaintop experience, everyone needs to be encouraged from time to time. Here we will share stories of strength, testimonies of triumph, verses of victory, observations, and information meant to touch the heart and uplift the soul, to keep you on your path of purpose and navigate this thing called life with power and authority. This is Andrea Hines, and I'm your host for When Life Speaks, here on ALH Broadcasting, an affiliate of the Streaming Inspirational Broadcast Network. I am glad you accepted the invitation to join us tonight. There's something in this broadcast just for you, and if it is going to be a blessing to your life, it will be to someone else as well. So share, tag, start a watch party, and invite someone you know to join us. Then turn down the volume of life and get ready to receive, so that when life speaks, you'll speak life. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to When Life Speaks. I am your host, Andrea Hines, and I am here with my co-host, Audra Lynette Hines. Hey there, Audra.
Hey there, Andrea.
You got to be here at the beginning, guys. We do this every week. I'm not sure whether she's going to be Audra this week or Lynn this week, but this week she's going to be Audra. So glad to have you with me. It is always a pleasure, my dear. And you know that somewhere in this broadcast, I'm going to switch back and call you Lynn, because that's what I'm used to calling you.
And I'll be confused as to whether or not it's appropriate for me to call you mommy. We'll get it together.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm just glad to be here tonight. Yes. Glad that our listeners are going to be with us. They're going to be coming in soon. And I am grateful for this day that we have, and grateful for this show that we are having tonight. Going to talk about some interesting things, some kind of funny things, some awareness things, because I was thinking about how we have these awareness months where we focus on one thing or the other. Mm-hmm. But the first thing I want to do is invite all of our listeners to send me some notes on the email, which is speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com. That's speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com. And if there's a particular topic that you would want us to discuss, please send it there. If you want to be on the show, you may have a testimony of triumph, a story of strength that you would like to share, that you think would be helpful to somebody else and encouragement to somebody else. So if you want to be with us, again, speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com. Be glad to hear from you and hopefully provide an opportunity for you to be on the broadcast with us. So I got that out of the way. We got any more housekeeping things, Lynn? That
nope.
it?
I think that's it.
Okie dokie. Well, like I was saying, we have different things that are shared as awareness month, and I found some, Lynn, that I don't even think you know about. I know that May is Jewish American Heritage Month. Mm-hmm. It is also Lupus Awareness Month. There's a lot that is done to bring awareness. This is their really big push for donations is in the month of May. Mental Health Awareness Month, which is what we're really going to focus on tonight, how to keep yourself mentally healthy. But did you know that May is National Egg Month?
Are you saying egg as in hard-boiled, scrambled?
Exactly. Yes, this is National Egg Month. And I'm going to test your skills here. How long
Germany.
can
I'm
you
sorry.
keep eggs or egg or dishes containing eggs? How long is it safe to keep them out? Once you
Out, like on the counter, out
out, not refrigerated.
an hour,
Two.
two
Can keep it
hours.
out for 2 hours, but that includes your prep time and your serving time.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
there is a month that's dedicated to focusing on the egg.
Well, there's a lot you can do with the egg.
No, a whole month is focused on the egg. Now, look, we got some special days. I wanted you to be aware. I want everybody to be aware of these days. April the 20th. You ready for this?
April.
April 20th,
Uh-huh.
National Lima Bean Respect Day.
How do you respect the lima bean?
Eat it. I mean, I don't know.
What
But
kind of respect do you give
that
it?
is National Lima Bean Respect Day. The 21st is National Chocolate Covered Cashew Day.
Oh.
And the 13th, this is the 13th. I'm sorry you missed this one then. Because this
Is it in April?
Or really got this was a May one. We just missed it.
Cinco de Mayo.
No, that makes sense. This is National Crouton Day. Was May? You're not excited.
I'm just trying to figure out why the crouton only has 1 day, but the egg got 30. and croutons are already dry. They already have a shelf life, which means they really could go for 30 days.
I'm trying to figure out who comes up with these things, and I'm trying to figure out what kind of ritual they have to go through, or what's the prerequisite
to have a whole month.
A whole month
dedicated to the egg.
The egg. But I thought you'd find that interesting trivia before we get into something that's really, really serious.
I actually think that if we really did this correctly, we could probably find a lot of different dishes centered around the egg.
Around the egg? Okay. Probably could, but I don't want you to spend too much time.
I don't want to do that. Not taking on that assignment. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
We got some other things that we need to talk about that's very, very important to us. And good evening to you, Angie. I see Angie Cook also popped up, and I'm glad to have her on the line tonight. But we wanted to talk about some things that are centered around mental health. And mental health awareness. Good evening, Francina. Glad to have you on tonight. Always. This is a broad.
Yes.
And anything that we talk about tonight could probably have a program dedicated to just that.
Yes,
because their mental health, their disorders and psychoses and all kinds of things that cover that mental health spectrum. But tonight we just wanted to talk a little bit about, and I tapped into the village a little bit just to see what some people are doing to stay mentally healthy. You know, I was looking and it's something interesting. When I was looking up or looking through the things that and circumstances that put you in a state of being unwell. Hey, Victoria, good to have you on tonight. And what was interesting about this is I definitely think it depends on the individual and where you really are in life. These were some things that were noted as to raise risk for late life mental health and substance abuse kinds of issues. Hey, Zerlina, good to have you on tonight. And they were saying change in lifestyle, which I can definitely see because, you know, we went through that with Mom when we were trying to move her from DC, down here in North Carolina.
Yes.
Extremely difficult and upsetting process for her. Retirement
Yes.
or job loss, a decline in health status. And you and I had talked about that one time because I said we had to get to the point of understanding that when you reach a certain age and you can no longer do the things you used to be able
Right.
to do, that it can be a very frightening thing.
Yes.
And you have to have more patience. You have to take your time more. You have to give the individual an opportunity to do things at their own time and their own pace. Sleep disturbances, financial difficulties. And one that we are not careful enough about is providing care to a dependent person.
Wow. Yes.
The caregiver needs care too.
Yes.
And
And a break.
sometimes that really, can create some very difficult problems for
Yes.
people. What do you have anything that you can add to that, Lynn?
I think for myself, I mean, all of those things are actually very, very true. And then the one thing that we didn't include with that is COVID.
Yes.
A lot of, when you're used to being on the go, or having to get up or being in just a routine, and then having that all stop. It's not even so much that you aren't going to work, but you can't go to get your hair done. You couldn't go get to, not eating out, stuck in the house, because there were many times where we had curfews and they required everyone to stay at home or being home all day. So those things, there's no outlet.
Right.
And when there's no outlet for people to release that, I mean, even those people who are regimented in going to the gym, that's a way to blow off steam or to just, so when all of that shut down and you have to, as you said, change your lifestyle, and there's but so much lifestyle we can change right now.
Yeah. Go ahead. I think COVID kind of touched on all of it. The lifestyle issues, job loss,
right,
for a lot of people, loss of loved ones, and how we could interact and handle that. Who would have thought that we would be doing transition services via Zoom?
Yeah.
I mean, we never thought we would be at that place and not be able to touch and hug and love people who needed comfort. Sleep disturbances, absolutely. Financial difficulties, absolutely. I mean, COVID did touched all of those areas that can put people in a place of not having good mental health. Good evening, Ida. How are you this evening? And good evening, Rena. Glad to have you on the line and part of the discussion tonight. I was discussing this with somebody this evening, and they were saying that they were just the opposite. Some of the things on the list were not things, they didn't fall into a category of late life. Okay, they weren't at a late life category. Okay. But I think depending on where you are, what you're doing, what your mindset is, it makes a difference in what your stressors are. Yeah. Because I know that the things that I looked for in my 20s were less important in my 30s and are non-existent now. Right. That I got my AARP card and some things just aren't that deep anymore. And that's,
as long as you can get your discount.
I was so upset when I got the notice that I could join AARP. I thought, how dare they? I'm just pissed. How dare they send me this note? And now I'm like, is there a discount for
senior discount?
I'm like happy now about my discounts and things. But all of those things and any of those things that shift the way that you're used to doing things
Yes.
can be a gateway, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
to being into a place of not being as healthy
Yes.
mentally as you would like to be. So we ask some of our listeners that weigh in with us on a regular basis to tell us what were some of the things that they do to keep them mentally healthy. And a lot of everybody's list had exercise as part of it,
Mm-hmm.
of course, prayer as part of it,
Mm-hmm.
and music. Music showed up on a lot of people's list. So let me kind of go through and tell you all what we got. Zerlina had sent us something in, and she's on the line with us tonight. So Zerlina, if you want to make a further comment, you feel free to do so. But she says that she checks on other family and friends, meditation. She does meditation, and Lynn, you work with somebody who's a meditation practitioner.
Yes.
So
Yes.
meditation is important. Slowing your mind down, working your breathing the way that you should when you're really trying to meditate, taking yourself to that good place, wherever
Yes.
good place happens to be for you, and relaxing. She said going for a walk, of course, quiet time with God, and music, gospel or jazz. I'm with you on that jazz. Sometimes
Yeah.
that jazz is good to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I thank you for that, Zerlina, for that input. Maria Kinsella, praying, of course, listening to music was hers.
Mm-hmm.
Reading inspirational books or daily word. Be
Mm-hmm.
still and rest. Do you all remember those little daily word
I
books?
still get mine.
Do you get
Yes,
your?
ma'am. I still do. I have.
It
You
was
can get.
that, and go ahead.
You can get it for either 1 month, or you can get it where you can quarterly. So it'll be 3 months in one book. Yep, I still get mine. Yes,
That,
ma'am.
and I think there's another one called Guidepost.
Yeah,
Guidepost.
I've
There
heard
was
of
that
that one.
one, and that was your daily devotion. And we are so blessed now because we have a number of people. Angie has actually written a daily devotional
Yes, she has.
guide, and I think we have another one of our listeners in the process of getting hers completed. I have a book of affirmations out, so it's really important that you put the right things in your mind, that you keep those things in your mind, because they can definitely help you.
Mm-hmm.
And Pastor Gloria sent us some information on that. Yes, Zerlina said you got to have some good music.
Oh,
Ooh,
honey, yes.
honey, yes. All the time. All the time. All the time. Okay, let's see. Wendy Oglesby uh, said she likes to get away to read her Bible, eat something healthy, go outside or for a drive, but just do something to make her refocus. Do
Mm-hmm.
something to make her refocus. Got a comment? You look like you do.
No, I was just actually I was trying to fix my phone.
Or you can try to fix your phone.
Sorry, I didn't want to
Whatever
make
you need
anything
to do.
up. I had to
And
fix
that's
my
true.
apparatus.
Because we don't want to lose you. Now, Charles Durant. Charles said, some of the things I do to maintain good mental health are socializing, reading, exercising, spirituality. Now he said, for socializing allows me to create a bond with others, dealing with a variety of topics and issues that I've read or talked about uh, concerning emotional situations that are vital to the well-being.
Mm-hmm.
Exercising the body prepares you to endure spiritual aspects of fasting and meditation. There's meditation again,
Mm-hmm.
as it pushes and strengthens your mind, body, soul in a positive way, and want to do better. And I want to say something about that socializing piece a little bit later.
Okay.
So don't let me forget.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Miss Francina. Francina says, going for a walk. She is
A
very
walker.
diligent about going
Yes.
for a walk. Francina, I applaud you, lady,
Mm-hmm.
because you will get out there, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, whatever the weather
Mm-hmm.
happens to be, and try to get your walk in. And she said it clears her mind.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Being in her sanctuary in God's presence, reading His Word, then being quiet and still, watching a good, funny movie, producing a lot of laughter. And let me tell you about movies. For me, I enjoy watching movies that make absolutely no sense. I don't like to watch movies where people are wrongly accused because it
Oh yes.
stresses me out. And I don't like watching movies that I have to think about.
Think.
I don't life has its own set of messages.
Yes.
So I like to keep things light. I like musicals and things like that. That's where my movie genres happen to be. So if light and something that's gonna make me laugh and be uplifted, or just something that's fantasy
Did
related.
anybody put down
The fantasy related.
journaling?
Um, you know, I
I
I
don't.
don't think anybody did.
Okay.
I don't think anybody did. Mm-mm.
And I think I don't know
Anybody online journal?
other
I
than
think we got
myself.
some people online that journal. If you do, put it in the comments. Just drop it in the comments.
I
You
some
do, I know.
I know I'm a big journaler. I think for me things two, I have an S on there. I said I think that's a lot. Um I don't know, here recently, I think for me, and I noticed that no one really touched on this or mentioned it. But there comes a time and a place where sometimes I think all of these things that everyone said is absolutely great and good, but sometimes the mental health goes just a little bit further. And sometimes I've noticed that I need someone to talk to.
Mm.
And I don't necessarily mean someone to talk to like a close family friend. There's some things that you just need to get out and have someone that you can discuss it with that is biased.
Hold
That
up, hold, hold,
uh-huh.
hold that. I don't want you to go too far in there. I want to finish with what Pastor Gloria said.
Okay.
Then I want to get into the issue of needing help
Okay.
and not seeking help, which is
Okay.
what you're talking about. And I think that's a very big issue, especially for those in the body of Christ. But let me do Pastor Gloria real quick. Pastor Gloria's hers had to do with your mind, with your mind and how you think. And her scriptures were death and life are in the power of the tongue. Those who love it will eat the fruit thereof. Speaking life, knowing how to speak life. Um, where was her other one? Proverbs 4:23. Above all, be careful what you think because your thoughts control your life.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one was about taking on the mind of Christ. And when I talked to her about it and the things she was saying, I said, now talk to me about those things in regards to mental health.
Okay.
And what she was saying was, she said, if you have the mind of Christ, your thoughts are going to be, think on these things, think
Yeah.
on these things that are honest, that are just, that are pure, that are loving. And when we are doing that, we are keeping our minds free
Mm-hmm.
of the things that have the propensity to pull us down, to put us in a negative place, to put us in a space that is not going to be nurturing, and that is not
Mm-hmm.
going to be one that puts us in our best space.
Mm-hmm.
And when Charles was mentioning socializing, I think socializing is great, but you got to be careful who you're socializing with. And sometimes you have to go back and you have to reassess your circle, because everybody that you would like to be around is not necessarily a person that you need to be around,
Exactly.
because of the increased drama, increased stress. It's just not not putting you in your best place.
Right.
So we have to, I think we have to be careful of those things. And when we get to a point um, where we know something's not right,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the I won't say triggers, but some of the things that let us know, feeling sad,
Mm-hmm.
mood swings,
Mm-hmm.
excessive fear or worry, withdrawal,
Mm-hmm.
withdrawal from friends, withdrawal from family, low energy, problems sleeping. And I'm going to read this definition of mental health, Lynn, and then I want you to go into what you were saying. The World Health Organization defines mental health as a state of well-being which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life. And I think that's the key piece. Can
Mm-hmm.
cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in one of those spaces, like making a contribution, being fulfilled, being able to cope with normal stresses, when you can't do that,
Mm-hmm.
you need to and want to reach out to somebody.
Right.
Now, in keeping our mental health, maintaining our mental health, we talked about prayer, we talked about reading scripture, and we talked about all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a point sometimes
Yep.
that that's just not quite enough. Not
Exactly.
quite enough. And that's when I think we get to this point of not wanting to be transparent, not wanting to tell anybody, and talk about that recognition that something's wrong and I need to talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm. True. Very true. Because I think sometimes we mask the I'm okay.
Hmm.
And I think we have to realize that it's okay to not be okay, as
Hmm.
opposed to trying to put on the front or the air that everything with me is just coming up roses and lovely. But you got to use manure to make those plants grow. So life has a way of throwing things at you. And sometimes we bury things.
Hmm.
Sometimes we don't deal with things. Sometimes we don't handle things well and we cover them up. But if we say it all the time, you can only sweep something under the rug for so long.
That's right. That's right.
And so you have to get to the place where you can talk to somebody. And talking to somebody may be a therapist, it might be a life coach, it might be sometimes, and I say that because sometimes you cannot talk to the person that's closest to you. You can't always talk to the best friend, because there's some things I don't at some point in time you need to be fully transparent.
Yes.
Fully transparent. And oftentimes that transparency is usually with someone who we don't know, who
Hmm.
can help us wade through the issues of life. Because as you talked about before, when we're socializing, it's something when you're socializing with somebody who has problems far worse than yours. You tend to help them, but you still haven't gotten the help that you need.
Hmm.
um, or you take on their burdens and you
Right.
haven't
Right.
really released yours.
Hmm.
So at some point, and I think a part of the mental health is also a part of self-care.
Oh yes.
It's a
Definitely.
big part of self-care. The walking, the reading, all of those things are wonderful, but there it comes a time, like you said, that you need a little bit more. And it's okay, but you got to be honest with yourself.
Absolutely.
You got
Why,
to be
why
honest
do
with
you
yourself.
think that we are so reluctant? Why do you think we are so reluctant? Because I know how I feel
To
about that.
seek help, or
Seek help. Hmm.
I think some of the reluctancy comes back from past, where seeking help is a taboo.
Hmm.
um, Seeking that professional help is a taboo, as especially in the church,
Hmm.
we are really good at telling people, oh, nothing's wrong with you, just pray about it. That's not always the case all the time. Um,
Listeners, hold on one second. Listeners, if you want to weigh in on why you think it's so difficult for us to, come forward or seek the help that we need, feel free to go ahead and put it in the comment section. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Lynn. Go
that's
ahead.
okay. And the us, oh, because your listening audience is not all African American, and it's not all Caucasian. So it goes, we cross over. But for the African American society, because that's what I can speak on. That's a big no because we don't ever have issues.
Hmm.
We don't ever have issues. That's not something, that's, I mean, growing up, that's what I can remember. It's like, that's not for us. um but the reality of it is for us.
Hmm.
And it's okay to say you have a therapist. It's okay to say that you have a life coach. I would rather somebody admit to me, to tell me that they're going to someone to talk to lay it all out, than to keep those things bottled up inside, because you have more people who have a tendency to attempt suicide or are successful with suicide, and you never knew the things that they were struggling
Exactly.
with.
Exactly.
And you never knew, but yet you could be sitting right next to that person every day, and we never know.
Hmm.
We never know what is going on the inside of somebody. So oftentimes, yes, what's on the inside got to come out. It's got to come out. So I think, I know for myself, I got to a point where it was just like, I think I need somebody to talk to, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with saying that, and I'm okay with admitting that. Life gets to be at a point sometimes that is too much.
Hmm.
It's too much, and you gotta be able to talk to somebody.
Yep.
You got to, and it's okay.
And Pastor Kelvin is on the line, and he said shame, which is something Zerlina pointed out. Shame,
Mm-hmm.
awareness of not having control.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
You don't want to appear weak.
Right.
And Francina says how people will perceive you. You
Yep.
don't want people to think of you in the wrong way. But I have friends who just put a book out, and I'm going to give them a plug, and I suggest that you go and get this book. It's called When Love is Angry,
Mm-hmm.
and it's written by Maurice and Ruth Griffin,
Mm-hmm.
and it is about her um, battle with being bipolar,
Mm.
and from the other side of the coin, how he was feeling
Mm-hmm.
all of those years, because she went, and this is something else. We either go undiagnosed or
Yes.
misdiagnosed,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and we don't want to. There's so many people who don't. Um, let me back up a minute. Excuse me, a
Mm-hmm.
minute. I took a class on mental health first aid, and one of the things that it talked about was not so much just getting people help, but
Mm-hmm.
getting them the right
Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
Because we were talking with a woman the other day who had battled with fibromyalgia, and I think we've got some folks on the line that have battled with it also, where they have gone to physicians who said, "Oh, yeah, that's you don't have that. You're just tired.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that."
Right.
So when you're reaching out and people are stepping away,
Yeah.
it just adds to the
Right.
difficulty
Mm-hmm.
in keeping yourself mentally healthy,
Mm-hmm.
or when you get to a place of crisis, not knowing what to do,
Right.
not knowing where to go. So I think some of the other things that are important, um, we have to listen better.
We have to listen. I
Yeah.
don't even think it's better. I think we have to listen.
Take time. because there's sometimes there are, and like you were saying, nobody even knew, um, because we're so busy going past each other.
Yeah.
We look up, and I had someone say, you need to ask the picture, how the question, how are you doing? I mean, really, how are you doing? We watch little changes in behavior,
Mm-hmm.
but then we don't take the time to say, just very simply, is
Right.
everything okay with
Okay.
you?
Mm-hmm.
Because I noticed, da 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 da,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it may happen to be,
Mm-hmm.
or things in their conversation.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody is telling you, I don't want to be here anymore, this is too hard, life is too much, I don't think I can handle it, yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
Those are bells. Those are
Yes.
flags. Those are warning signs. That's the time that you need to kind of sit down and ask the person, how long have you been feeling
Feeling
like
that way.
this? What
Mm-hmm.
did you do the last time you were feeling this way? And really, really take that time. Victoria said, when you are told you don't look sick but are in pain, it is discouraging. Oh,
Yes. Yes.
absolutely, Victoria.
Yes.
That's a big one.
But when the person tells you that, no, 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 let me say, when you tell somebody if you need someone to talk to, I'm here. When they contact you, let them talk.
Be there.
Be there and
Mhm.
let them talk. Don't then take your problems and make it all about you.
Or your cousin, or your other girlfriend. Honey, I
And
had
I
a
mentioned,
friend and she did yada 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 yada.
I love those people.
I
Listen,
remember when my husband said yada yada
yada,
yada.
yada, yada, yada. And
That,
what I did was, and what
yeah.
you need to do, and if I were you,
Mm-hmm.
that's my favorite line. If I were you.
Mm-hmm.
I remember talking to somebody just not too long ago, and I didn't get the full sentence out, or I didn't get the opportunity to truly say what I was feeling before they were so nice to interject to me what they felt I should do, and what they felt I should do had nothing to
To
do
do with how you
with
was.
what I was saying, but they didn't know that because they never let me finish. They never let me finish. And we are so good sometimes of looking at the out, like window shopping. We're good at looking in and making an assumption. And we always feel that the strong person never has an issue.
That's right.
Because if you're strong, you have all this strength and you can get through it and you can do it. But it is the strong person that oftentimes needs the most help,
Mm-hmm.
because we are always putting the front up that we can handle it. No, we cannot handle everything.
Mm-hmm. Calvin, Pastor Calvin put up something. I know with the mental health first aid, they say that you, first of all, assess for a risk of suicide because you
Yes.
want to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that the person isn't in a dangerous state.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Listen non-judgmentally, Pastor
Yes.
Kelvin. That is the second thing on that list. And he said,
Mm-hmm.
listen to hear and not
And
to
not to
respond.
respond.
That is so good, so good. Give reassurance and information.
Mm-hmm.
You are not the person who has the ability, the training, and all of that to then tell them what they need to do.
Exactly.
That goes
Exactly.
into getting them the right
Right.
help,
Mm-hmm.
encouraging them
Mm-hmm.
to get appropriate professional
So no
help.
help.
If
Mm-hmm.
you think, based on what you are hearing, that that's what they need, and
Mm-hmm.
just that whole non-judgmental listening
Mm-hmm.
piece is so
So
important.
important.
And I really don't think we know how to listen, how
No.
to just be quiet. You just need to be quiet and give the individual an opportunity to say what they need to say.
Mm-hmm.
Because finding a safe place is difficult.
Yes.
It takes a lot of courage to be able to come forward. and say and even admit that
Yes.
something's not
Something's
right.
wrong.
And particularly, it is so sad in the body of Christ the number of pastors and who end up committing suicide
Right.
because of what you were saying. We put the face on that. I got it. I'm in control of it.
Hmm.
Everything is all together. Man and woman of God get up and preach the paint off the
Yes.
walls, which is under the anointing, which is under what God is speaking through
Hmm.
them. And so when they step off and say, I'm tired, I got to get away, you be okay. You be, because how could you possibly deliver the word like you delivered the word and then come away and say, I have an issue, have an issue, you know? And that is something that, we just have to be aware of. We got to be more sensitive to one another. And I think it was Zerlina or somebody that was saying, they check on their friends, they check on their
Hmm.
family. And that might not be doing anything for you. It may be
Hmm.
doing more for you than you think,
Hmm.
but it is definitely doing something for that individual because you don't know what kind of cycle you can
Yes.
in that moment
Yes.
in just letting somebody know that they're important, that you care about them, that you're concerned about them, that that they matter. Most of the time, it's all people want to know is that they matter, that they're
Right.
they're important to you.
And it's okay. I think it's
And
up.
we got
Yeah, go
something
ahead.
here.
You
Let's
got a
see
couple
if I can
comments
pull
out
it
there.
up. Angie says finding a safe place is difficult. I agree. We need to check on our strong people.
Hmm.
Yes, our strong people need strength too.
Yep.
And we've talked about it before on the program. What do you do when your well runs dry?
Yeah.
When people are pulling on you and drawing from you all of the time,
Hmm.
where do you go?
Hmm.
Because everybody simply assumes
Right.
that you're
Assumes it's
okay.
okay.
You're okay.
Hmm.
So you end up depleted.
Hmm.
You have nowhere to go. And how are you going to who are you going to trust?
Hmm.
Who are you going
Right.
to trust? So
That
all
and
of those
that
things come into play. All of them come into play.
that part right there. Who are you going to trust?
Mm, mm,
And that's why I think sometimes going to the therapist is important because I have to be, if I'm seeking help or if I'm seeking someone that I need to talk to,
mhm.
then I have to seek it with somebody I can trust. And it's such a shame that the person you trust is going to end up being the stranger.
Yep.
That is such a shame because you need to be transparent. But I can't be transparent with the person I'm closest to for fear of not having the trust.
Right.
And that's where I think we get into the denial
Hmm.
because we got to keep that front up. We got to keep that front up. It's so important to keep that front up, but it takes far more work to keep that front up. And when that front breaks, man, that when that front breaks, everything topples. Everything. It's like what's that game where they lay the bricks on top? Is it Jenga? I think that's it. And
Yep.
you pull that one. It doesn't matter how high it gets. You pull the right one or the wrong one, depending on how you look at it, and everything crumbles. Everything crumbles.
Hmm.
So this mind here, the mind that we have, is what affects everything else.
Hmm.
So this has to be in order.
Yep.
It has to be in order.
Now, Angie has something up here. We as children need to realize that our parents are human also. Let me tell you something that I don't
Where is that button? I asked for that
know.
the last time. Can we get the applause?
I don't know.
Where's the ding, ding, ding on that? Where is it?
I don't know whether she's clapping because she's the child. I'm clapping because I'm the parent. I don't know which way it's going. But let me tell you something. You said a mouthful right there. And Lynn and I had a discussion a while ago, and we were talking about the fact, we were just talking about getting older
Mm-hmm.
and having to understand that when I have to ask you something more than once,
Mm-hmm.
it's not because I'm trying to get on your nerves.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I honestly don't remember that I asked you that.
Mm-hmm.
And asking for patience with that process.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to understand that she can't run and jump and do things for me like she used to, because she's getting older as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be conscious of the transition in our lives, the changes in our lives. There are some things that, like I said in the beginning, years ago would have sent me over the edge. Don't get my schedule off. Don't have me planning to do something in a particular time frame and somebody's not ready. Something's not happening. That was it. I mean, I was out. I was spinning out of control. And now I'm in a place of saying, oh, okay. Well, we'll work that out. It'll be fine. It'll happen at some time. But we have to make those transitions for ourselves and for the people who are around us.
Yes.
I would go to the doctor with my mom, and we would get up to the counter, and the nurse behind the counter would immediately turn to me and begin to ask me questions. And I said, there's nothing wrong with her. She's standing right here. She's standing right here. Now, how embarrassing that was for her, how that made her feel, how it made her feel incompetent and triggered those things about changes in your lifestyle. I feel that now. I feel that now. I didn't understand it then, but I feel it now. I feel it now. And I was telling somebody one day, I said, there's nothing worse than being a passenger in your own car.
Yep.
When you're used to controlling things and you're used to driving and you're used to, being the one to say, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do the other, and finding yourself getting older at a place of saying, okay, just tell me when to get out. Tell me when to get out and we'll be okay. And it's like, well, what's wrong with you? It's just a transition.
I don't know whether or not you remember this. I remember you and I we went shopping.
Uh-oh.
And it works both ways, because being an only child, when you have to watch your parent age, it makes you aware that they're aging.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember we were at the store, and you had your cart, your little basket. I think we're at the Dollar Tree or something. And I was taking all of your things out the little basket, putting them on the counter. Cashier asked you, and I was like, no, get the card. I mean, you pulling your wallet out. There won't nothing wrong with you. You pulled the wallet out. You're taking your things. And I was like, no, put it back in that spot. We leave the store. I take your hand, and I'm helping you step off the curb. And you turned around and looked at me. You gave me this look like, if you don't get away from me, I'll never forget. That thing was so funny to me. And I told you that day, I said, you're like that. I said, I'm trying to help you. I said, you treat me like that old woman when the Boy Scout on the Odd Couple was trying to help her across the street. You're going to be that kind of person in the old folks' home. You're not going to want no help. You're not. But for me, it was just like, oh my gosh. And that has always been a battle between us because it has been like, but you're forgetting stuff. My mind is sharp. I'm not saying it's not sharp. That's not what I said. I didn't say your mind wasn't sharp. It's just that you're beginning to forget stuff. For me.
Clearly, we have come to the time of close.
So I have to be like, okay, I'll wait. Okay, I see this, but it's all right. I'll wait. But it is just as difficult for the child to see it and watch it. And I think if you're really cognizant and paying attention to your parents, I think we see it sometimes faster than you all see it.
Yeah.
So it disturbs us and we go into react mode. And the reality of it is, it's like we're putting, God, I hate to say it like this. It's almost as if we're putting the death sentence on before it needs to be there. You know, it's already, we're trying to shield you and you're still trying to live your life. Mm-hmm. You know, so
I remember the very first time I'm a daddy's girl. So when my dad was alive, we were extremely close. And I remember seeing him walk across the front of the church one Sunday, and he was kind of bowed over, and his gait was off, and I just caught myself and thought, oh my God, my dad's getting older. He's getting older. And I feel that now, and there's sometimes that I want to do, but I know I just can't. And, you know, I've said to Lynn sometimes, I want to go out, I want to shop with you, I want to do all of that. But I said, you got to bear with me, because when I get into it, if I get to a place of saying, okay, I've had enough, gotta go, then just kind of respect that and let it go. Guys, we have run a little over.
My God.
Time I hope this has been helpful to you all. I have really enjoyed it tonight. I think that I pray we have left you with some good nuggets and some things to think about, because my father's famous line to me when I used to say, Daddy, why? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? And he would simply look at me very wisely and say, just live long enough, baby. Just live long enough.
Yes.
Thank God to this day that I can look up, turn my eyes toward heaven and say, gosh, Dad, I get it.
Yep.
I can just live long enough. So thank you all for being with us tonight. Glad to have you with me, Lynn. Glad for all of the listeners that were with us tonight. Again, I say, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys for giving us thumbs up and hearts and all of that, and letting us know that you enjoyed the program. Be sure, send me something. speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com. If you have a topic that you'd like for us to talk about, or if you want to be a guest on the program with us and share some of your thoughts about something, please get in touch with us. Thank you, Ida. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Lynn.
You're welcome.
Good night, everybody. Hope we'll see you right here next Thursday night for When Life Speaks, because when life speaks, you'll speak life. Good night.
Good night, everybody.